is Sean again. I'm back again with All Things Black. I have a new friend here.
Hi, my name is Charis. I'm the author of wasteallday.com, where I talk about losing belly fat. Um, I'm glad to be here to talk about colorism today.
All right, thank you, Caris, for joining us. So we're gonna go ahead and get right on into it. So our first question is, what does the word colorism mean to you?
To me, it's like discriminating based on skin tone.
Okay. All right. And what do you believe are some examples of colorism?
Some examples would be like only dating someone who's light skinned or something like that. I think that'd
Okay.
be a prime example.
Right. And so why do you believe people have negative attitudes about dark skin, and why do you believe people have negative attitudes about light skin if you think they do?
That's a really good question. I think that the dark skin thing started because a lot of the people who were slaves working outdoors, that's like the worst part of the job. And so they started associating the darker skin with like a lower status and everything. And it's common among like all kinds of countries. It's not just America. I know a lot of Asian countries are like that too, because a lot of the people who work outdoors, they get a tan and their skin
Mhm.
gets darker, and then they're always wanting to be lighter and stuff. It's like a status symbol or something.
Yeah, it's definitely like that. I did study abroad in Southeast Asia in Thailand, and they have a really bad problem with colorism there. Like the darker skinned people are considered like the workers, and you do see more of the darker skinned people who are like have food stands or who are working outside. Like all of their creams and stuff have like bleach and stuff in it. They have billboards that have like bleach and stuff on it. When I went to school, people would like it's hot down there. People have umbrellas over their
Yeah,
faces. Yeah.
I've seen that in America too. People walking around with an umbrella because they're trying not to get a tan.
Like it's not raining. Okay,
Yeah.
but they
One
people.
time, one time I was getting my nails done at a salon, nail salon, and I was just like, oh yeah, talking about how I like to, lay in the sun and get more tan and stuff. And she was like, oh, in our culture, we like to get more white, so it's much different. And I was just like, okay,
It was an Asian lady.
yeah.
Yeah,
And she
they.
was a little dark. She was like a darker tan Asian too. So it's like, it's weird that she even would embrace that mentality
Yeah.
when she doesn't even fit the ideal of what she's talking about. What's the point of embracing something that you can't even reach the top, What's the point of that?
Yeah. And from what I've read, there like how many countries have issues with colorism because of like European colonization, but not not countries in Asia. I don't exactly remember why. I think it's from maybe watching things, American things, or it was a combination of things. But unlike a lot of countries, there, unlike a lot of like, well, Asia's a continent, but unlike a lot of countries that have an issue with colorism, Asia's the continent of Asia's problem with it is not associated with European being colonized. So
Right. I think
I
it
know
does
exactly
have
what.
to do with mostly like the type of labor that's associated with it, like white collar versus blue collar labor.
What role does traditional media have in perpetuating colorist stereotypes?
I feel like it's more so the negative stereotypes on the dark skin. Like it's not so much that they're perceiving light people or white people positively, but that they're making darker skinned people be perceived negatively. So like stereotypical, you know, ignorant behavior and like crazy, like things when people have multiple people they're dating, and
Yeah,
all the
yeah,
crazy outlandish
exactly.
stuff like that's
Hmm.
just commonly shown with dark skinned people, and
It is.
it's like they're trying to make dark skinned people look bad.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a common. It's a common role of you have the lighter skinned women who are the wives, the darker skinned women who are the
Baby
can't find a
mom.
man, best friends, or the baby moms, or so.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And I also found this study that found that darker skinned people were less likely to be like the cover. I mean, to be campaigning beauty ads.
I
So,
think they also make it a point to pick out dark skinned ladies that aren't as pretty. So, like, there are lots of dark skinned ladies that are really gorgeous, but they're picking out the ones that don't look as good so that the white person always looks better.
hmm,
If they should pick out people who are like equally attractive in different colors, but
right,
they're like trying to make it like dark skinned people, oh, this is the best we could do, so they choose someone who's like average or something. But I think that they could choose dark skinned people who are extremely gorgeous and very ethnic looking, but they're just trying to make it look like that's the best they could do.
yeah. I heard another interview I had. A girl said the same thing, and she felt like when they casted dark skinned people, um they would cast a as far as with standards of attractiveness, they would cast a lighter skinned woman who was obviously beautiful, and then they would have the dark skinned woman who, you know, so
Or like when it comes to the makeup, like they'll do the makeup of the dark skinned person worse, or they'll put her in the worst outfit in the
yeah.
magazines. Like they always get the worst of everything.
Okay. So what role if any, do you believe colorism plays in dating and marriage?
I feel like a lot of people are colorless in
Yeah.
particular. And I mean, I'm starting to notice because a lot of white men are going for dark skinned black women, and but the black men, they're always going for light skinned black women, you know? So I feel like um, it plays a big role.
Have you ever heard someone say to you, has a man ever said anything to you about your color?
Yes, yes. Um, like one guy, he was talking about how he only goes for light skinned girls. Um, I've heard that a few times from different people. So it's pretty common among black men that they like tend to go for the light skinned girls or white girls or whatever.
Do these comments bother you? Are these people that you would like continue to date or
No,
no?
no,
Okay.
that's a turn off. Like one of my friends, he was telling me, he was like saying things like, "Oh, light skin, oh, such a dream family." He was like pointing out some light skinned family, and he was like, "That's the ideal." And I was like, "Why? Like, why?
Mhm.
Why is that the ideal? Like, what makes that so special?
Right.
I don't get it."
Okay.
And
That makes
I asked him that, and he really didn't have an answer. He was just like, "I always wanted that." I'm like, I don't get it.
it is a common thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. People have a way of what they want their family to look like. From my study, like a lot of people when they talk about their preference in women, they mention how they want their baby to look.
Yeah.
And they have poor understanding of, genetics. So, um, for them, having a dark skinned woman means having a dark skinned baby, and that's not what they want. And having a light skinned or mixed woman means having a light baby, and that is what they want. We have a very unhealthy fetish with light skinned babies in the black community. I don't. Light skinned babies are inherently better than dark skinned babies. Um, to many black people. Um, did you see the fiasco with the Prince family?
No.
Okay, so the Prince family is this YouTube couple, and it's a dark skinned black male, and the girl, she's also was in the news lately again. Well, not the news, in like the social media news lately again because she did like blackface to do a Uber prank. So they're an interesting family. But they recorded their birth, like her have given birth. And so it went viral because after the birth, the mom was talking about how she thought her baby would have pretty eyes.
Oh boy.
Um, mhm. And then the dad, they started discussing like what color they thought the baby was gonna be, and how they thought she was gonna get darker because of the color behind her ears, and asking
Oh,
the yeah, and asking the lighter skinned girl's grandma how she felt about the baby's color. The nurse, this is all recorded. The nurse had to say, like, but she's beautiful because they were like going on a,
but
yeah, they were going on a semi rant about how the baby came out. It was creepy, to say the least. But so people do think that having a baby with a certain, they want to have a baby with a certain color because they think that'll guarantee them a light baby.
mhm. Yeah, it's also common among like Hispanics too. Like one of my friends, she was talking about how she wanted to have a baby with clear skin, which I never heard the term clear before, but apparently that's referring to like white skin, like
Hmm.
pale skin. And I thought that was just so weird. Like, I don't understand what it is that's so special about white skin to people.
Well, it's just, white supremacy. It just has brainwashed a lot of people, generational trauma, and just, it has to be something else other than that, though. But I
Some
guess
part of me
TV.
Some part of me thinks it's like survival. Like they know the treatment that darker skinned people are gonna get, and so they're just like, oh, well, let me go lighter because, maybe then that's gonna ensure that my children are gonna be happier or better off or something. That's
Yes, people. I think some people feel that way. There's some people who, just like you said, don't like how they look, and people want their children to have what they didn't have. And for a lot of people, what they didn't have is light skin. So, having a baby with someone lighter skin may, give them the ability to have that. So it's just a lot of self hate, a lot of, you know, white supremacy ideas, a lot of wanting the proximity to whiteness. So,
yeah.
yeah. Okay. What do you believe is the difference between colorism and preference?
I think preference is what they say to cover up their colorism.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what I think.
yeah. I I think so too. Um,
Preference preference No, because I feel like there's attractive and then there's unattractive, but there's attractive in every color and there's
right,
unattractive in every color, you know?
right.
So like that's preference,
That's what I think.
you know?
Preference could be like I like a girl that's pretty. But then, you have to, even when someone says that, you have to say, do all the girls that you think are pretty look one way?
Yeah.
But no, I like a girl that's pretty, it could be preference, or I like a girl that is, intelligent, or I like a girl that's funny. I
But then
like
if you think about it, like there's all types of features no matter what color. So like you could
yeah,
like big eyes, you could like eyebrows that are like pointy or, like I don't arched, I guess. Or,
no, that's
you
true.
could like big lips and you could find big lips anywhere, although you're more likely to find it in
Yeah,
some places. But I mean, that's what I think preference is more like just like how attracted you are to like their general features and how they come together as a
right.
face, or as the body and everything. But like colorism is like um, like I only go for this color and higher or lower or whatever.
Yeah. Many people don't think it's colorist to say, I feel like you have to leave that up to interpretation. I don't think there's like any non-colorist reason for certain color preferences. I don't, but many people think, it's, I guess you could say, yeah, I don't see another reason. Because the reason to prefer, most people's reason to prefer light is because of some hierarchy, and that's color.
Exactly. It all comes down to
But
hierarchy.
yeah, but nobody's gonna say, I mean, I'm a colorist, so
No, of
nobody's
course
gonna
not.
say
Just like nobody's gonna say I'm a racist, you know? Like
exactly. So
they're gonna be
preference,
like, I'm colorblind. Well, why should you be blind to color? Is color such a bad thing that you have to be blind to it?
colorblind. Yeah. I don't. Yeah, I don't. I think they're the same thing. So
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. How do you believe gender intersects with colorism?
So, I mean, if I'm wrong, let me know.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking it goes down to like what I was saying earlier, like black men, I think are like colorist. I think they're more colorist than black
Mhm.
women for sure. That's what
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Because you can tell based on like their behavior and their choices, and how they act, how they can be very colorist.
Yeah. Another part of it would, yes, I agree with that. There's men have more of a tendency to pick women based on looks, I would think. So
Yeah.
but it's also intersex in that you have dark skinned black men are actually in dating, they're actually the preferred man. But
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, but in light skinned men are, you know, effeminate, this, that, whatever. Um
Mhm.
as far as on the other hand, dark skinned women are not preferred in dating, and light skinned women are seen as the just pinnacle of beauty and all like feminine qualities, and that quality stems over to the light skinned black man as well, and makes people, resistant to dating him because of the fact that beauty is so heavily intertwined with being light skinned. So a man can't be both light skinned and manly. And
Yeah.
dark skinned men are like the most manly. They're just the man of all men. If something happens, from my study, a lot of women prefer dark skinned men because they feel like if something happens, a dark skinned man would beat the person up for them or would shoot the man for them. A lot of women said that.
Interesting.
Even though that's a way white people use to dehumanize dark skinned black men as seeing them more violent, but we also use it in a, I guess, positive sense, if you want to call it that, in dating. So
Yeah, and I mean, in the medical industry, they used a lot of black women to experiment
that's
with
true.
childbirth, natural childbirth, had them going through so much pain and like different procedures and stuff because they didn't think that black women felt pain like white women do.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Um, do you think colorism is institutionalized? Do you think it affects like socioeconomic status, like prison sentences, etc.?
Yeah, of course, because anyone in a position of power who has to use their eyes to make a decision, like that, it's likely that they're going to be biased in some way and make a decision that could impact that person's life. And I mean, colorism is a problem, that's prevalent in society. So
Yeah.
it's like the odds of you ending up like in front of a judge that has colorism issues
Mhm.
is possible, it's likely. So I definitely think it is institutionalized.
Do you have any personal experiences with color discrimination or yeah, that's the question.
You mean like discrimination against me? I mean, I grew up in the white community for a while, like middle school and elementary school years. So I thought I was dark skinned. And
Oh,
then I
okay.
went to the black community, and then everybody was telling me I was light skinned.
Hmm.
So I think my experience is kind of unique because at one point I thought I was dark skinned, and they're being telling me I'm light skinned. So to me, it's just like it's all in people's heads, like it's like a mental issue, like that people have to choose the dark and the light and, make assessments based on some kind of, physical appearance. It's actually stupid, like just flat out stupid, because it's like, you really think that you can tell what kind of person that is by the way they look?
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand, like, you look at them and you can tell they have poor hygiene, and you
Hmm.
can determine that maybe they have some issue there. But, like, you can't look at someone's skin color and be like, I think I know what they're capable of or what they're not capable of. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
But yeah, I feel like in my personal life, I have dealt with a little bit of that myself. Like one time, well, this isn't necessarily skin, but like one time I had twists in my hair, and this white boy in my class, he called them poop rolls. like like I just feel like the way that white people treat black people, it kind
Yeah.
of it carries on, because like black people have been affected by that, because technically that is abuse, right?
Right.
Like slavery, that was the first abuse. So the black community, after years of abuse, carries that abuse now, and we're still handing it down, to our own generation, and we got to stop it. Like, we have to recognize it for what it is. It's abuse.
So have you had people who okay, so have you had people who like, so usually when there's, topics about colorism, dark skinned black women talk about colorism, there will be people who, and their stories are valid as well, but I don't know if they'll say, oh, okay, black dark skinned people may go through this, but this happened to me, like being called um like, I guess, offensive names like light bright, or that they've had their blackness questioned. And some people say they got beat up for being light skinned. Do you have experiences with any of those things?
Being victimized for being light skinned by
Yeah.
black people.
Hmm.
I mean, people have viewed me as stuck up
Yeah.
without getting to know me, but I mean, other than that, I haven't experienced anything extreme. Just like people maybe not wanting to be my friend because they thought that I thought I was better than them or something.
Oh, all right. And then my last two questions are kind of like one question. So, um, who is responsible for ending the cycle of colorism, and do you think it'll ever end?
That's a really good question. I mean, I feel like we are responsible.
Hmm.
Like all the people in this day and age have to take responsibility and stop, saying, oh, but this happened, so now I can treat other people like this because it happened to me, like people always want to justify their bad behavior based on their past trauma. And I feel like we need to just switch it up and decide, like, we're just gonna all do right by each other, from here on out. I think it's gonna take some educating. Like, people need to realize that, like, technically it's stupid to be colorist. Like, it really is. Technically,
Yeah.
if you really think about it. So I mean, if we really just thought it out or explained it to people, I feel like maybe it could change, especially if we educate and treat people correctly, like, and stop treating some people better, and then stop saying things like pretty eyes, and
Yeah.
like,
Pretty hair.
yeah, all that kind of stuff, like not showing. Because here's the thing, I think, and I've said this a lot to, like, friends and family of mine, because I feel like it's important that people need to know, but like, racism isn't always about hatred. Racism is about preference. So, like, oh, I prefer to hire the white person. I prefer to choose the light skinned person or dark skinned person. Like, we need to stop favoring people, because what's happening is other people get left out.
Right.
They get pushed out, and they don't have certain advantages that other people have. And we just need to work on being fair and stop being biased.
Right. Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I enjoyed
Thanks for
talking with you
having me.
today. No, thank you. And yeah, really enjoyed your perspective. I enjoyed talking with you today. And yeah, thank
Same
you so
here.
much. I mean, all right. And so, guys, this is Sean, and
And Charis.
with All Things Black, thank you guys for watching us.
Thank you.